Geordie Walker has sadly passed on. I did a video closer to when I got the news, and as soon as I was done filming it, I'm like, I'm not going to use this. But you could just tell sometimes, and it just felt like a Wikipedia page, you know, like going down the fucking Killing Joke facts. Like if you stop to watch this, you know what Killing Joke is. And if you're any of my regular dudes, I'll be back with my regular schizo shit soon enough. But yeah, this was kind of shocking to me. I don't know why deaths shock me anymore, but I reacted to it the way that you would do if someone you know died. You know, like how with someone close to you when they die, or, you know, if you've ever had the misfortune of having to deal with that. There's like this denial, like, no, they're wrong. This has to be wrong. This report is wrong. That's what happened to me, and it's strange because I don't know the man. I've never met any of those guys. I'm just a fan. But for some reason, that one bothered me because Killing Joke is different. They're like, yeah, they're a band, and but there's something about them. Like they, actually, a lot of the groups I like are kind of like that. They're almost like their own entity, or at least that's how it feels to me. But there's this kind of tribal thing that goes along with them. They call their group of followers the Gatherers, and it's one of those cult following bands, you know, obviously. But there is something. There's some kind of ownership between the fans of the band and the band itself. I hate to use the Star Trek thing. It's almost like a Star Trek fan kind of thing. If people like them, they're really into them, or they don't know who they are. I got into them like a lot of metalheads did with, or first heard of them, really. Didn't get into them then, but I heard of them when I got the Metallica 598 EP, which that was huge when that came out. You know, like 87. Everybody had that thing. And they did a version of The Weight on it. And I'm not into covers. I usually like the originals of anything. But they do a real good fucking job on that. Their version of The Weight, I mean, I think the Killing Joke one is superior, of course. But if there's ever like a contest for like definitive version of that, I wouldn't begrudge people who would claim that to be the one, because it's really fucking good. The Weight, to me, it's a great tune. It's one of the lesser songs, I think, on the first album. You know, the even worse, well, not like it's bad at all, but a bad one from the first album is the Foo Fighters version of Requiem, which is just awful. It's awful. I don't like anything that guy does anyway, that Dave Grohl, Illuminati, fucking freak weirdo. But, and I know he's come in and helped him out. His drumming on the 2003 self-titled, of course, is great. And he's not a bad drummer. He just kind of annoys me, because he's everywhere. He's like the Phil Collins of fucking grunge rock. You know, it's like anything you watch. And beyond music, you know, you see like a documentary on, you know, mini golf, and you have him there saying, well, I was always into mini golf. You know, mini golf was always one of my favorite things. You know, when I first started professionally barbecuing, I started playing. It's like, dude, just get out of our faces. Get out of our faces. But, yeah, they're so influential. Their influence, Killing Joke, of course, I mean, their influence reaches far beyond their popularity. There are people that are influenced by them that don't even know it. I'd say almost any band with electronics or kind of techno sounding kind of stuff, anything that sounds like a machine, really, comes from them. And that first album, that first Killing Joke album. Geordie's guitar work had a lot to do with that feel, because no one played the guitar like that. Like he almost used it like a different instrument. And I know a lot of people say that about a lot of guitar players. Like, for instance, like Dimebag Darrell or something. People are always saying like, no one played the guitar like that, and they did. And Dimebag's, of course, he was an innovator. many of the Eddie Van Halens. You have Steve Hackett of Genesis, like guys that really did something different no one else was doing. Hendrix, you know. But Geordie, it's almost like I'd put the Edge in that kind of group of guitar players too, as someone that's doing something that we hadn't quite heard before. Geordie was like the master of that. It was just this sound that you hadn't really heard. It was dark. It was almost, it was atonal at times, like just this really foreboding sounding guitar. And they were kind of one, well, not the first, but they were one of the early sort of post-punk bands. I was trying to think of a word there, and I dodged around with it for a while, and unsuccessful. Yeah, they were one of the first post-punk bands, I would say, along with the pop group and Pill. And they have a connection with Pill. Johnny Rotten used to talk them up in the media quite a bit at the time, because Youth, who played bass for Killing Joke in their original formation, and currently still today, although he's been out of the band a couple times, was in a band with John's brother and John's dad. What was it, UB4 or 2B4? It's whatever the name is for a 2x4 in Ireland, because they were like construction workers at one point, or still did it. So it, you know, Youth was in that band, and they only did one single. I think it was only just one single, 2 tracks, but John produced it, and that's how he met Youth. At the time when Youth was in Ireland, he looked so much like Sid Vicious that people used to think it was him. So he would start like a fucking mob scene at the pub because everybody thought it was him, and he, you know, he didn't want to have any trouble, so he would just go along with it. So he was signing as Sid sometimes, you know. Lady was way too close to me. It was like scrambling my ability to talk. Whatever, I'm not going to complain. Watching the last couple of things I did, it's just like, it's 2 hours of complaints, or however long 2 videos were. Just bitching about people. I don't like that. I don't like that I do that. I mean, if I'm that way about like spiritual war stuff, which is really the whole point of, you know, what I do, it's not as bad. But I was just like complaining about people. It's like, what do you know, dude? You live in a city, right? And you live in a tourist area. You're gonna have to. You think after 10 years I'd be like, I'd chill out about it? But no, I don't. But yeah, he had a sound that people have tried to kind of copy, but you really can't. It's bizarre, you know, like how he plays. It's definitely something that you'd only get from a self-taught guy. I don't think anybody, except for Jazz, maybe. Yeah, well, Jazz obviously he could read music and write music, and he did something with symphonies later on in his career. Conducted, thank you. Man, these common words are fucking, they jump out of my mind, and I gotta chase them around my head to try to pull them back in my brain. But he was a self-taught guitar player, and only someone self-taught can come up with that. He reminds me of a guy I used to play with, who was also a self-taught player, that just had these really weird, discordant kind of structures, and the chords he would use were really unique. So you hear stuff like that. Every once in a while you hear a guy like that. And Geordie was definitely one of those every once in a while type guys. That first album is so good. Like, I mean, I like all of them. I don't think there's a bad Killing Joke album. Like, I should do a rating the albums thing sometime, because I haven't done a Killing Joke video in a while. Someone's always fighting out here with each other. People don't get along. But yeah, I don't think that, I mean, even Outside the Gate has its charms. Outside the Gate was the 1988 supposedly jazz soul album that was repurposed into a Killing Joke album. It's considered like their nadir, but there's some cool stuff on there too. Geordie's always been with the band. out of all the lineup changes they've had and people come and go, it's always been Geordie and Jazz. They're kind of the, you know, the main kind of nucleus of the band, you know. And Geordie's also into magic, like jazz. Actually, they all were. They're all doing magic stuff, or new stuff about the occult or esoteric knowledge. You know, the kind of stuff we go over here. Yeah, he was one of a kind, you know, and it's sad that he went. I don't know what his status was with taking the thing. I don't know what any of their status is. I would imagine, going by who these people are, that they wouldn't go near that stuff. I'd be really surprised to find out any of them, you know, took the mystery juice. But his, I don't know exactly what they're saying caused his death. I heard it was like a cardiac thing, which is in line with the mystery juice. So hopefully, I don't know. A lot of bands needed to travel though, you know, to do gigs. The Damned had a scenario like that too, where Captain Sensible had to stay out of a whole U.S. tour during this stuff because he wouldn't take the mystery juice, which just made me love him even more. But you know, I'm sure no band is psyched to do it, especially guys that on that kind of level, they know the possibility of what it could be or what's going on there. But to work, you got to work, you know. I mean, that's what they do. So hopefully it's not something like that, but that's besides the point. We lost, I didn't even know him, but we lost, as a music fan, as a fan of the band, we lost something here significant. I was hoping they would get something new out. They've been dripping out singles. They've done 2 singles of newer material. They've released an older version of War Dance for Record Store Day. They put out a couple things. They've released live albums, but their last full-length studio set was Pylon in 2015, and that was real good. That was a rager. Although, as much as I love it the least out of the 3 comeback albums. The 3 comeback albums are being the 3 reformation albums, reunion albums when they came back with the original band, which was Absolute Descent, and then 2012, and then fuck, I just said it. Oh God, this is what happens when your brain starts getting eaten from the inside out because it's full of too much fucking crazy shit. I'm gonna get it. It's gonna pop in my head any minute now. Pylon, that was it. Okay. Yeah, that's my least favorite. It's still great, but Absolute Descent is probably my favorite of the 3. Those albums are so good. Those albums, right? That the post-reunion albums are the best since the day. Like, Absolute Descent to me is the best thing since Nighttime. Like, for sure. Nighttime was actually one of the albums that had Rabin on it, playing bass. Paul Rabin, who was in a bunch of different bands. Prong, he was with Ministry. He was with a lot of industrial kind of metal bands. But yeah, the original band is really where the best stuff is, you know. And it's, so I was hoping for them to get something out. And now, I don't think, I mean, hopefully they have some stuff recorded. I know Chaz and Youth were working together in the studio. This is via Youth's Instagram, which he updates pretty regularly. Although, not a lot of Killing Joke information, except that, you know, them being in the studio, like I just talked about now. So hopefully they got some stuff down. I'd love to, you know, hear whatever he did before he went. This is a big blow, though. Will they continue? That's a question. Like, I don't know. There's definitely like a deep brotherhood there. And I mean, that band was put together through a magic ritual. Now, is that broken? What does that mean for them? Is there going to be some effects if they continue or don't continue? I'm sure Geordie would obviously, I think he'd want them to continue. We wouldn't want them to, you know, to stop. But they all have solid music careers anyway. Like Youth is in a band with Paul McCartney. He has a side project with Paul McCartney. What the hell's the name of that band with McCartney? I don't know. But he makes records with him. You know, Paul is doing his own thing too. Big Paul. He has his own stuff, and he actually makes jewelry too. Like custom jewelry. Very cool stuff. Jazz, of course, has a million different projects he can move to or do. He does his orchestra stuff too. So it isn't like they don't have things they can do, but Killing Joke is definitely a special thing. And they replaced people before, but never Geordie. I don't know. Who was that? Which band asked Geordie to possibly? Oh, Faith No More wanted to play guitar for them when Jim Martin left back in the day. That would have been weird. But he's so associated with Killing Joke, and he's such a big part of that band musically and just the whole thing. I don't know. I you know, as a fan, jealousy, misery. I don't think I had any ones. I think I just got a couple 20s. I'll get her on the way back. But yeah, I'm cool with whatever they do. As a younger guy, I would have been like, no way. But I don't know. You know, that's not my decision to make. You know. Hopefully, they, like I said earlier, they have some stuff together that he may have been recording or working on. Or if not that, at least how about some archival stuff? You know, put out some archival recordings, whether they're live stuff, like demo stuff. I can never get enough Killing Joke shit. I'll take every time they want to. They're like Maiden with me, like with the live stuff. I'll take every live album. I don't care how many they make. You know, keep pumping them out. You know, I want them all. I mean, why not? I mean, to listen to, of course. I no longer collect. After a lifetime of collecting music, it just became so much easier to just stream stuff. And I know I don't own it. I know I'm just renting it. I understand all the downsides of it, but also I have everything right there at my fingertips. I can't resist. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to have a collection still, but even if, like, it is more of a convenience thing. Like, to have the CD, you gotta get the fucking, or the album, you need a turntable, there's so much stuff to it. You know, it's just, I don't know, I never got back into collecting. And plus I bought every album I like about 10 times in 12 different formats. You know, the deluxe edition, the tour edition, the fucking Walmart edition. It's like, you know, I was a mark for all that stuff. I'd get all that stuff. I was compelled to have it. You know, even like with greatest hits albums, it was like a new package. So of course, you know, I had to have it. It's like, the cover's cool, you know, so it's like whatever. But yeah, sad he's gone. He will be missed. There's a lot of questions about the future or what they have, but now really isn't the time to go looking for those. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how long people take to grieve, what their process is, but I hope no one's bothering those guys, at least for a while. Just let them grieve a bit. Maybe 4 months into the new year or something, start asking about, hey, what do you guys have? Do you have anything? Is there going to be anything? You know, if they decide to close up shop, that's fine. I understand that. I'd like to see more stuff, though, too. That'd be good, too, you know? There's no one here, and I've been men right beside me, so close to me, that I could almost touch his arm, you know? And there was a lot of room there. We got all that room. Dude comes, stands. This is why I'm always bitching. This is why I'm always fucking going on these rants. They're fucking robots, guys. They're robots. Sorry. Alright, I'm not gonna fall into that. Rip Geordie. Sad situation. Hopefully there's some light at the end of the tunnel in the way of new music or previously recorded stuff or even archival live stuff. I feel bad for the guys right now, and I hope they're getting through it. I hope you're getting through it. It's the post-holiday. Well, no, we still have New Year's to go. So, I'll be covering a lot of the activity here, a lot of the madness. Until then, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.